Hey, welcome back to the Glycogen Cycling channel. So today is another edition of Group Ride Reviews. And today we rode down to Naples, Florida. And it was a super foggy morning, as you can see. Like, you could barely see a mile ahead of you. So a little sketchy, but luckily the sun came out and it was a pretty good day. So the first part of this ride for the first 10 or 15 miles is a 25 mile per hour speed limit. So I guess we do this just to be inclusive to everyone that might not necessarily want to go or can't go as fast as everyone else. And then once we cross 41, we pick it up. And as you'll see, it was a super fast start. I think we hit 34, almost 35 at one point. So really quick start. And for those of you who have not seen group ride reviews before, you can check it out in the top right corner. But what I do is I rank the ride on 5 different categories. So we have race-like, speed, route, safety, and difficulty. And I think these are the 5 criteria that you really want when you go on a group ride. And I'm going to give you a number 1 through 10, and you can determine, the best possible ride for you. So really my goal for all of these, and like I said before, top right corner, you can see the whole playlist of all the episodes I've done. I really want this to be like a catalog of group rides around the US and possibly the world if I travel abroad more frequently. But I really want it to be just like something you can go and look at. And if you're traveling, you can kind of go see what a ride might be like in that area, what the roads are like, how the riders are, and go from there. And also, if you are just joining this channel, or if you've been with me for a long time, you're going to notice a couple new things in this video. And if you're not subscribed, I'd recommend subscribing at this point, because there's going to be a lot of exciting things happening in 2020. And I'm going to give you 2 surprises in this video, which one of them you're watching right now is the new GoPro I got, the Hero 8, which is on my helmet right now. And this also has this crazy stabilization, which is just insane. But I'll get back to that in a second, because the next surprise is right here. Rear GoPro coming at you for 2020. And we get to see all the pain faces now. Hopefully that I'm putting on people. But the real star of the show is this new Hero 8. This, I mean, tell me if you like this or not, but this stabilization is just excellent. Like, I was skeptical at first, but it is so good. And sorry for the little water splash on the lens, but that's going to clear up in a couple minutes here. But honestly, when I was reading all the reviews and the footage from GoPro, like their marketing footage, I was kind of skeptical about the stabilization. But after using it and going over a couple bumps, like, this thing is so smooth. I'm still trying to get a little bit of the kinks out, which is why I'm doing these videos. And you can tell me in the comments what you like and what you don't like. If I have that rear camera way too small in the top left corner, let me know. And I'll be sure to change that when we get the crits starting in like a month or so. But yeah, this stabilization is just excellent. The only thing I'm having a little issue with is my helmet is showing, because I guess the technology is like kind of a gimbal. I'm getting all nerdy right now, but the lens actually like shifts up and down, which is like a normal stabilization in a cell phone camera or whatever, but it's really pronounced, so it's super hyper smooth. I guess that's because of the name. But I may put it on not as a wide of an angle, because I'm having a hard time with my helmet showing up. All right, so let's get back to the footage. So you'll see I had to close kind of a decent amount of gaps starting off, and I kind of had to pay for that a little bit later. But I bridged up to this little breakaway, and everyone kind of just followed. They didn't necessarily get directly on my wheel, but they were, right behind me, so we didn't really get a breakaway established like I was hoping, but that's kind of what happens. So let's give this the race-like ranking, and I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10 for a couple reasons. So the first is the first part that's 25 miles per hour. I'll probably dock a point for that just because, in a race you don't have a speed limit. You can go as fast as you want and you could go as slow as you want. So I'll dock a point for that. And then I'm also docking a point for this section right here, which is what we call the feed zone. So we have like a mile or two where you can just eat some food. In a race, yeah, you have feed zones, but it's not as chill as that is. You kind of just have to grab and go, and then you're back at it. So overall, I'm giving this a 7 out of 10 for race-like. Next thing I want to talk about is this little section right here. So guys sat up and made me have to bridge up to this. So of course I'm just going to attack and make sure they don't get on my wheel. But then in order to just like drive this and make them suffer a little bit, I just go to the front right here, use my momentum, and just keep the speed up a little bit. So they have to work a little bit harder just because they made me work a little bit harder. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. And then I kind of just sit back and chill. But what I was going to say is the best time to do this ride, or any ride here in Southwest Florida area, is during like the winter time, because that's when everyone comes down here and they are super fast rides with a lot of people. So anytime between like November until February is like the best time to come down here and do these rides. Especially if you want to go super fast. And that's what's going to lead me to the speed. And for today's edition, and I'd say for majority of this ride's edition, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I haven't been on many rides that are faster than this, at least average speed wise, even like max speed wise, because on this upcoming section you'll see in a second, we get, we're doing 34, we're holding 34. So there's usually a tailwind there and you're just in your biggest gear, just spitting it out. So that's that. And here these guys put in a huge effort up that hill and kind of just sat up. And I'm hurting at this point, but I kind of used my momentum, but I also coasted for a bit. So I should have just shot past them and tried to close this down. And you'll see we're going to switch back to the rear cam here. And I'm putting in a huge effort right here to try to bring this little brake back. As we'll see, close, like 550 watts, just holding it. And I got pretty close, but I kind of just like fell apart towards the end with the hardest is to close the last like 3 seconds to the wheel of the breakaway group. So yeah, speed we got 10 out of 10. Route, as you'll see, this is a little cool road here. This is why they call the route the Wiggles, because you have these little, I guess, wiggles, for lack of a better term. And yeah, so that's a pretty cool road. Not many cars come through here, so that's always nice. So route, I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10 because, we always have some good roads. And then here we are at this last section, and this is the section we usually have a tailwind, and we had a slight tailwind today, but it wasn't as big as it normally is. So we're going 33, and if we take a step back here and take a look at this clip again, so you'll see this guy right here pulls off to the left, and watch the rear cam here. So he's gonna pull off, and everyone just kind of expects him to do work, and that's because this guy is either former or current world champion, masters in the time trial or something like that. So super strong guy, and he just wanted to go to the back, but everyone's just like, nope, you're pulling. And that kind of gave us three just a little breakaway, and we kind of didn't realize it until a little bit further on. But once Cat 5 Pro pulls off the back here, he looks back and is like, we have a gap. So I'm like, all right, let's hammer this. So we had a good rotation going, but that guy ended up pulling us back, or he bridged up to us somehow. Super strong guy. He doesn't have like a sprint or like a kick or anything like that, but he's just like a semi truck. Once he gets going, he does not slow down. Yeah, you heard Cat 5 Pro there, like, hey, we have a gap. So this is when we start picking up. But again, we probably wasted a good 20 seconds of not drilling it super hard, putting the pressure on, because we just didn't look back and realize it. Because it was just kind of a weird breakaway that just kind of formed unusually. Alright, so let's get back to the rankings. So safety, I am ranking this one a 7. So the reason being is, you know, we do have some busy roads like this one. There's a bike lane on pretty much all of it, all of the busy roads. So that's pretty good, but you know, you still have to deal with cars passing you at, you know, 45, 50. So not ideal, but the majority of the route is safe. Never had a problem with cars on this route, so giving it a 7 out of 10. And yeah, so guys finally, well, looking at the backhand, we have one more guy catch up to us. So now that puts us a breakaway of 5. And this, we would have been gone if we didn't get stopped at this light. We would have been totally gone. But unfortunately, we got stopped at a stoplight, and that brought us all back together. Because yeah, in that group we had 5 of the strongest guys. But here we are. So normally we'd go straight here, but this is the extension. So if you go straight, the sprint is right before the Road 41, Tamiami Road. But this part adds on a good 10 or 15 miles or so, and then you have the sprint after that. So I didn't do the whole route. I rode up to the route, and then this is like back towards my house, so finished it up with 65 miles for the day. But if you do the whole route start to finish, it's 60 miles. So last but not least, let's do difficulty. So I gave this one a 9 out of 10, especially during the winter months, because you do have, you know, world champion and former pros come down here for winter training, especially around end of December, early January. So it can be really hard. I think, yeah, my normalized power was like 300 for like 3 hours or something. So not an easy ride to do, and especially complete. So yeah, but it's really as hard as you make it. If you want to be out in front and pull, then you can do that. Otherwise, you can just sit in and you know, make it a little bit easier. But regardless, you're still going to be going about 30. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this edition of Group Ride Reviews. Again, check out that full playlist in the top right corner if you haven't seen the previous 2 episodes. And hopefully, this will help you out in the future in deciding where to take a trip and what group rides to do. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.